Hey, you guys, this is your girl, Coach Ebony Nicole, the writing coach and publishing engineer. I help faith based men and women to start, finish, structure, design, publish, and release the book God gave them. If you know someone who can use my services, tell them to reach out to me. So, on this episode, which is actually fairly new for me to create vlogs, I think that's how you pronounce it, vlogs. I think that's what it is, a vlog. I am going to talk to you about the 80-20 rule of writing. If you've never heard of it, don't be like, oh my God, this is new. I've been in the industry this long, or I'm just starting out. No one's ever told me about the 80-20 rule. No one can tell you about something I just recently made up. And by recently, I literally mean on January 24th, I made up the 80-20 rule. I just was randomly thinking, and then it came out. I was like, oh, 80-20, that makes sense. So let's roll with it. So that's what I'm doing now. So I decided to talk about the 80-20 rule. I'm going to tell you about it, how it's beneficial to you, and how to apply it to your writing, okay? But before I do, there's something I want to tell you. I want to tell you that your words matter, either spoken or written, they matter. If God gave you something to share with the people, then you must share it. It's not just for you, it's for them. And if God gave you something to give to them, then it is your duty, it's your honor, and it should be part of your daily God give me something to do prayer. So tell people what God gave you, release it, edify the church, the body of Christ, by the release of your words. I'm quite confident that you will. Now, back to the 80-20 rule that I just made up this year, this week. Well, it depends on when you watch this. This week, I made it up. Okay? 80-20. It's 80% for someone else, 20% for you. Coach, what are you talking about? 80% of what's in your book should be for someone else. 20% of it should be you. What does that look like? When you sit down to write your book, I want you to think about everything that the reader needs. I don't care if it's a children's book. I don't care if it's a book on crock pots. And if you know me, then you know I love crock pots. I don't care if it's an autobiography or if it is a 5-part fictional series about dragons and dragons and dwarfs. I don't care. Your goal when you're writing should be all about that, your readers. What are they going to need to get through this story? What are they going to need to continue to turn the pages? What are they going to need to refer it to someone else? And by refer, not lend it to them, but tell them, you go buy your own copy. What's wrong with you? I'm not giving you this book. You want that type of response. You want them to say, look, when is part 2 coming out? Again, doesn't matter what type of genre, you want them to want more. But you also want to give them what they need to get through it. So let's take a look at fictional stories. I am a fictional writer as well as a non-fictional writer, but we'll go with fiction on the first because I actually like fictional books. Suspense and thriller are my favorite, okay? You give me a good suspense book, put me in the corner of my sofa, give me a glass of wine, and baby, you won't hear a word from me. You might hear a well, that's not really a word. It's like a gasp for air because something shocked me or frightened me or something happened in it, or that, oh my God, I didn't see that coming moment in the book. So let's go fiction. So in your 80-20, 80% them, 20% you. You want, in your book, you want your readers you want to take them on a journey. You want them to experience all the highs and lows that your characters go through. You want them to be emotionally invested. Emotionally invested. That means if you are writing that chapter and you are emotionally like all for it in an emotional way where you're excited for your character, you want them to feel sorry for your character, you have to feel those emotions in for them. You want them to be emotionally invested, because if they are, they're going to keep changing the page or flipping the page, changing the chapters. They're going to be longing for what's next. 80% them, 20% you. You can be entertained by your book as well. If you laugh, make sure that your readers are going to laugh too by how you write it. If you're writing it and you want them to hate that character, make sure if you hate the character, make sure the way you write it, your readers hate them too. You want them emotionally invested. They're gonna love it. Your comments will show it, because they'll reflect, oh my goodness, I read this story and it had me feeling like this. If that's what you want to hear, then you have done it right. You gave them 80% of what they needed and 20% of what you did. Now listen, it's a fine line. I know 80-20 seems it's a far way, but it is a thin line that you can cross to giving yourself more. But I'm gonna talk about that after we talk about nonfiction. So nonfiction, 80-20. Well, we back up. So for 80-20 for fictional, you want to make sure that your readers are captivated, that they have been snared, they aren't going anywhere until that last T is crossed and I is dotted and last period is made. You want them to be hooked to your book. 80% of what you write should be for their benefit, for their amusement, for their whatever it is that you're writing. Okay? You want them to be all in, 10 toes down into what it is that you have written. Got it? Now, 80-20 for fictional. Fictional writing, I'm also a fictional writer. You can have a wide variety of genres genres and fictional. Non-fictional rather. But here's the thing. When you are writing nonfiction, which can be an autobiography or self-help or how-to, or it could be a journal, it could be a workbook. These are all, things that you're leading people into. These are types of books that you can write for nonfiction. So let's say crock pots, because I love crock pots. So you're going to teach people through your books about crock pots, recipes, from drinks that they can make in a crock pot, drinks they can make in a crock pots, to soups, breads, desserts, meats, all types of things, right? You can do listen, this is to the side, but crock pots are absolutely amazing. If you work all day, you can put something on low in the morning, and by the time you get home from work, it's done. And you might have to make like a little side or something to go with it, depending on what it is. But it's totally done. You get in, relax, eat your day as well. Okay? So for nonfiction, when you are writing the 80-20 rule, you want to make sure, like fiction, that your readers can take everything that you have shared and immediately apply it to their life. There should be some type of transformation occurring within the pages of your book for your readers. And now you're wondering, well, how can a crock pot change my life? Easily. If you write a crock pot book and it's like 5 ingredients or less, do you know what that could do for a busy woman or man or a busy family on any given weekday? It will change their whole routine. Do you know that if when the mom and dad or grandma or whomever go shopping, they can make a list, grab these 5 ingredients and be gone. Let's say you have an hour for lunch and you live near a grocery store. You know what? This is what I want to make for dinner. You run to the grocery store, 20-30 minutes in there, depending on how busy it is. Maybe long, not as long, but let's say 20 minutes in the grocery store. You grab those 5 ingredients and you're good to go. You already know what you're going to make for the next day. You save people some time. So it's going to transform them. It's going to give them more time with their family when they get home from work. It's going to allow them to just relax, unwind, enjoy dinner without having to slave over a hot stove. Transformation has occurred. You want that to happen in your book. For you, the 20% is you finding the courage that you didn't really know was there in you to share your story. When you are teaching, like some people do with their books, you have to put in there how you learned. That's your 80%. What did you learn? And that you can give them tips and strategies to obtain the successes in anything that you have. The 20% is for you, is that courage factor. You had the courage to publish. You had the courage to release your book. 80-20. 80% for your readers, 20% for you. I know it may seem like it's, Coach, 80-20, 80-20 rule for writing. That seems, why should you know this? But you'll be surprised what you don't know till you know it. So that's all I got for you guys. The 80-20 rule of writing. 80% of the content that you write, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, should go for the benefit of your readers, and 20% should be for you. When you do, that's a beautiful recipe for an enjoyable book, for one that your readers will tell other people about and tell them, get your own copy. This one is mine. I am Coach Ebony Nicole, the writing coach and publishing engineer. I help faith-based men and women to start, finish, design, structure, publish, and release the book God gave them. If you know someone who can use my service, tell them to come on over to my website, ebonynicolesmith.com, and set up an appointment. And when they do, if they mention your name in the intake, you will receive a cash bonus. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have